Hey guys, Josh here from Liberseed. There was a friend that I had recently who sent me a video on YouTube where it was someone who's been to an Amish community and they was talking about cars and other technologies. And the person the Amish person, they said that whenever they think about as a community whether to or not to adopt a certain type of technology, in this instance it was cars, they always ask the same question. They ask, does it help the community? Does it bring the community together? And if it doesn't bring the community together, then whenever they have a problem, individually or as a community, then are they able to then solve that problem together? And so, as an example that they gave in the video was, if your neighbor or your roof came off during a storm, is if the community was together physically, like locally, then you're able to come together and rebuild the roof within a couple of days. If you had a car then, or any individual within the community had a car, it's very easy for one individual or a group of people, probably like in the modern Western world, everybody is in a car going to do other things, whether that'll be work or socializing or trying to find somewhere to relax or consume. Then the community is kind of split and divided. And so when there's crisis or when there's a need for a community to do things together, you're not together. And so that kind of coincides with the Liberseed idea of a car. So we're kind of sold this modern idea, this dream, that a car gives you freedom. And to an extent it kind of does, because when you turn to the age of whatever in your country you can drive a car and you can get a license, you've got the freedom in a way that you're probably not committed to a family or a full-time job. And if you wanted to just get up and go somewhere, you're not bound by public transport or your family taking you somewhere at some specific godforsaken hour. And it allows you to just go and do that untracked, kind of uncontrolled. And that's kind of fantastic. And the freedom that you feel from being able to do that is unlike most of the other things that you can consume in the modern world. So there's this idea that a car gives you freedom to go wherever you want, freedom to move fast, freedom to escape. But for most people today, the car isn't a tool of freedom. It's a chain, a bill, a burden, and a trap. So I'm going to break it down kind of what Liberseed thinks. Most people use cars only to serve the system. Ask someone what they use their car for. They would say commuting to work. They would say going to the shops. They'll say school drop-offs. And they'll say just, casual errands. And that's not adventure, that's not escape. It's just survival in the system that's created for you to do those things. A car, it gets you from the place you live to the place you work, so you can afford the place you live and the car that takes you to work. It seems like that's not freedom, that's just a loop. And so cars are one of the most expensive traps in modern life. So according to the RAC Foundation in the UK and the AAA in the USA, the average car costs £3,000 to £4,000 per year in the UK, and in the US it's over $10,000 annually to drive, per driver. And so that's not counting depreciation, insurance, fuel, repairs, interest on car loans, parking fees. You spend thousands of hours of your life working to earn money just to pay for the machine that enables you to work. That just seems so backwards to me. And so the system is designed that way. Car dependency is a result of landlessness. So when you don't own land, the real problem isn't the car, it's that you don't own land. And so if you grew your own food and you worked with your hands on your local community, and you lived close to nature and you lived close to where you work, and if you had meaningful relationships within a walking distance, you wouldn't need a car. The car fills the gap between your dislocated needs, because everything essential to your life is just miles away. And we see this all across the world. It allows you to go to work in a different location, so you're not within your community. It allows you to go shop in a different location because you don't have the products growing in your own land. And so Liberty says, don't close the gap with gasoline. Close the gap by rebuilding your life from the ground up with the soil. We've lost the skills that make cars an option. Hundreds of years ago, a human's life didn't require a car. You walked, you rode animals, you shared tools, and you produced what you consumed. But modern people have lost the skills of survival. Modern people don't know any gardening, no local butchers or bakeries, no shared labour in the villages, no home building skills, no barter, no self-reliance. So we depend on long-distance solutions. We drive cars to supermarkets, to malls and jobs that we hate. And the car isn't making your life freer. It's proof your life is spread too thin. And so the Liberty way is to rebuild your life without an engine. Imagine a life where you walk to your work because it's 100 feet away in a field or a workshop. You grow your food instead of driving to buy it. You know your neighbours and you trade instead of driving to stores. You heat your home with wood and not gas. You don't have to check if your car is locked because you don't own one. So that's real freedom. That's not dependence on fuel or finance or factories. We're not outsourcing everything that is our survival to other people, to other countries, people we don't know, people who don't care about us. We're not outsourcing our food, our water, our energy, our heating, our security, our information, our education. That's all now outsourced. And how do you get it? You have to pay. So as a summary, a car is not freedom, it's self-sufficiency is a myth. And so cars is freedom, it's a myth. Cars give you mobility. Cars are modern solutions. You need cars to live. They're all ideas that a capitalist, larger civilization has fed you because they're able to sell you more products. They're able to make you go to work and extract your labor. In reality, cars are dependency. Cars are required for survival. Cars cover up disconnection, and you need land and skills to live. And so cars were once a symbol of escape, kind of intertwined with the American dream. But today they're a reminder of that we're trapped, and it's time to drive less and live more. And so Liberty'd call out to you, Liz, how do you make your life less dependent on other external systems? And a car is a good telltale sign that you're dependent on other systems. Because if you need to go to the shops, it's because you don't produce your own food or water or everything that you need to consume. If you use your car to drive your kids to school, it's because you don't have a community that's built to educate children in a proper way that's local. And so you need to go to work to earn money because you don't own your land, you don't own your property. And if you do, you're still paying potentially for a mortgage, or you're still paying for all these different conveniences and luxuries. And so you buy a car so you can drive to work. And when you get to work, you hate it, or you're probably not enjoying it, or you wish you were somewhere else. Maybe you wish you was just spending time with family. And if you was working local and you didn't have a job where you're working for some sort of corporate business that controls what you do, who you're with, who can come into work. It used to be kind of a tradition, not even that long ago, 50 years ago, where parents could bring their kids into school. But now we have so much health and safety and regulation around who's allowed to be in a building, a corporate building, because of liabilities and so forth, that even our kids don't see us because we spend so much time at work. But in Liberty talks about a community of 200 people where you spend nearly all of your time in your life around people you love, in a community that you know and you build trust with, and you have deep, meaningful relationships, and you spend the time with your kids. Imagine what you could do with your kids if you had lots of things to do where you live. and you had lots of people to do it with. And along with the community, you bring your children along and you can teach them the skills that they're going to need to be able to survive. In this day and age, we send our kids off to school, we export the need to teach them, and then meanwhile we go work for somebody else. So that seems backwards to me. What do you guys think? If you like this comment, like and subscribe. There's lots of restrictions that YouTube and other social media platforms are placing on like this sort of content. It's like shadow banning or whatever they call it these days, but you can make a difference. You can like and subscribe and comment. Thanks for listening.